Hi. So I'm like in the middle of thinking things, and it hit me really hard just now, and I went, oh shit. Because I know how to shift perspectives so easily, I can just shift. And then I see a new perspective, and that allows a lot of information, knowledge to surface. And I see the new perspective, and then it shifts again. And then new information arises, surfaces, and I go, oh, so I can do like a 180 on my perspective overnight, which is really infuriating because for me, that means every time I make a friend, I have to re-meet the friend a few weeks later because my perspective has shifted so drastically. And I'm finally at a point where it's slowed down so that now my personality isn't changing. Now my perspective isn't like I'm stabilized now. So I'm still shifting perspectives, but now it's all in light work. Now it's all like I have figured out the material plane and I'm good and now I'm stable. And I have finally accepted what I am. But then when I look out there, so I'm tuning in and I'm feeling this push and pull. And this is amazing because I can feel identity pushing and I can feel intuition pulling. And then I feel her pushing when she wants to puppet me and direct me where I need to go, which is extraordinary. And I trust her so well now that I can wear her like a blanket. And I'll go into this place, into this zone, and I will type, and they'll just come to me. And it's her that's creativity. That's her just going, okay, we need to say this, this, and this at this particular time to align this particular thing so this string will get pulled. Good. And I go, you do what you need to do, girl. And now I'm allowing her, I'm allowing her to puppet me. Complete consent. The subconscious mind forces the puppeting. But the relationship between identity and intuition is an allowing. You're turning yourself completely over to the feminine, to the protector, and allowing her to do whatever it is she needs to do. It's the allowing. So I let her puppet me. And only when you allow yourself to be puppeted by her do you get what you want. It's quite extraordinary, actually. But I was doing a video this morning and I got asked a question, or someone had made a statement about how when I get high, it's almost like I get drunk, or I get my subconscious mind and Jerry drunk. And that's beautifully, beautifully well said. And I couldn't figure it out. Every time I smoked, I couldn't figure it out what it was. I thought I was heightening my third eye. What was really happening was I was dumbing down my subconscious mind, which means that once my subconscious mind is turned off completely, my third eye will take over and my visions will take over, and I will never have to, my subconscious mind will stop interfering. And that's really it, is there's this massive push and pull between the frequency flow, what intuition needs to do, and what the subconscious mind is letting her do, letting the conscious awareness do. So it's a lot, excuse me. So I actually signed on today because I wanted to tell you about my Lightworkers group. I have a group called the Lightworkers Union. The Lightworkers Union. The link is on this website or on the video below. And I have a Facebook group, and intuition is pulling at me hard saying, okay, it's time to get this up and running. And I went, okay. So the Lightworkers Union is basically a massive group where I am looking to unite all the Lightworkers. If you belong to another guild, great. Come on in. This is where we all unite. I put everybody on the same, this is the plan, this is the mission, this is what I want done, this is how I see Operation World Peace going. And There's options to train. Even if you're just there to wallow in the energy and add to it, great. If you want to just follow our Manifestation World Peace Days, which I'm building on the summer solstice next year, June 21st or 22nd, I'm going to be hosting World Peace Manifestation Day, where all the light workers in the world literally come together to manifest. And our goal is to all manifest world peace on the same day. That's right. And I will be leading this through my Lightworkers Guild, the union, not my guild. These are two different entities. The Lightworkers Union is the group where we all come together, and I'm organizing everybody, and I'm sharing my vision of world peace and direction. And within that group, it's networking. You're allowed to exchange ideas. You're allowed to exchange goals. I'm really excited because it's like a networking group. I need to put that in the title. So it's not just light workers. Yeah, I really need to change that. So the title is the Light Workers Union. It's also the networking, like it's for networking also. And then I'm basically going to be doing my own recruiting for my own light workers. And I'm going to have an application process. I haven't gotten that up yet, but that's in the process now. That's one of my goals for working on this week, is getting my own guild up and started. And I'm really, really looking forward to it, because when I worked on the healing garden, things felt good, but this felt right. That felt good, what I was doing with triadic healing, and that's definitely part of it. But this felt right. This was like a huge, this is where I was supposed to be getting to. And it was so funny because every time I came up with an idea that would implode my mind and I would get this other idea, and it's like I leveled up. I could feel myself going, wow, this is amazing. And I felt intuition say to me over the years, no, go bigger. She said that to me so many times. No, go bigger. And it started off with, I'm going to get out of here. No, she says, go bigger. And then I got out and I was like, all right, I'm onto something. I'm going to cure my PTSD. And she went, go bigger. And then I cured my PTSD. And then I realized I could cure all of them. And she went, go bigger. And I thought, oh, I'm going to cure everybody. And she went, no, go bigger. This is the first time this week in my life was the first time she did not say, go bigger. She said, there it is. And I went, finally. Yeah, that was pretty big. Yeah, it was pretty big. So it was suddenly this realization of, oh, I have triadic healing, which cures mental illness, but it doesn't just cure mental illness. It's not just world peace. It's world peace, leading the awakening, and using my program to cure mental illness all at the same time, coming together in triadic healing. Triadic healing within triadic healing within triadic healing. It's literally a 3-part immersion experience with 3 parts into each experience. It's very much triadic healing. I'm sure there's like numerology going off the charts over my 333s, and I don't know why. It just has to be. So says intuition. So I got all this thing built up. And yeah, last night and this morning was the first time she did not say, go bigger. She just said, there you are. Now you get it. I literally slept for like 4 hours yesterday. I had this long nap. I just slept. I have never, I'm already exhausted, and I know what it is. Thank you. I'm getting better. I'm starting to figure this out, and I'm going, all right, I know what this is now. I understand. And I think what's going to happen is once I'm all caught up on my sleep and I've rested and I've healed and I feel my fibers healing, like it's not just, it's a different kind of healing. Like my DNA is repairing itself. I don't quite understand what any of that means. I've heard of it and I just don't get it. But it does feel like my cells themselves are repairing. And I don't know how long I'm going to sleep. I don't know how much rest I need, but I am going to get to a certain point where I will have rested up, and I will just wake up, and I will be supercharged. And I wonder if that's actually why I'm so quiet right now, is because I'm preserving my energy because I'm so tired. That actually makes a lot of sense. The reason why I'm so low key and quiet and I'm not allowing my sunshine to come out is because I'm preserving energy, because I am that tired still. So, and it's so funny. I have been trying to figure out a lot regarding my partner for a very long time. And I've been back and forth on it, and I've just been all over. And I finally was able to sit down with identity today, and I went, I never asked her what she wanted. My subconscious mind had a lot to say. So I just looked at her and I said, do you want him? And she very clearly said, yes, I want him, but only if he's healthy. And I went, I want him too, but only if he's healthy. And I, the conscious awareness, was able to turn to my identity and say, heal him. Just heal him. And I heard her say, okay. And I just felt her shift. And that's when I realized I cannot have him in my life unless and until he has leveled up. And I don't know if he'll do that. And that's the truth of what I've been grieving. I cannot have him as he is. He's got to step up. And I just don't know. But he's trying to. Oh, but he's trying to. Huh. He's trying to find his own way. Well, I just got to let him. Take back your energy from memory from all left to really take it back to yourself. I don't know how to take back energy yet. I know how to push it out. I don't know how to bring it in. I have no idea how to bring in my energy. And I don't know, I just started learning how to shield it. And I don't know if I need to learn this from a mentor, don't type yet, or if this is something I have to find out for myself. I do not know. Part of me immediately went, well, it would be faster if someone taught you. But would I walk? Stop thinking about him. You are the one who needs your energy. I had that thought many, many times. That in thinking about him, I give him my energy. Because all energy is just emotional transfer that comes from thought. And I know this. That makes a lot of sense. And there's literally nothing I can do. That's really the big part of it. That's what it is I'm a healer. And I have 28 years psychology. And when I look at a person's subconscious mind, I go, oh, I can fix this. I know exactly how everything's all moving. I know exactly what I need to tweak to get a person to think a certain way just so they can heal themselves. I can do it. If he would just open up to me in 2 weeks, I could have him, I could fix the subconscious mind. And I have clients who pay me to do this. But I can't help him. It's like a doctor with a child of their own. And you learn that the child has a medical condition and you can't fix it. It feels like that. And it's more infuriating in my own ego and my own feeling of incompetence. Like I need to prove to myself that this really has nothing to do with him. This is about me and my relationship with myself and my own competence. That if I can fix him, I can fix anybody. Because I have a really hard time as a healer to just let somebody not get healed. Yeah, that's right. No, I know that. That's rule number 1 of therapy is like you are projecting. You can't help someone who isn't ready to be helped. And it was about 2 weeks ago that I finally, it was the moment I was outside of the cave And there was that old woman inside the cave, and she was like, "You can come in only when you leave everything behind." That was me talking to myself, having that experience 2 weeks ago. That's where I came up with that post, with that concept, is because I felt like I was that person who just climbed it, and I would not let down my loyalty to him. So I stayed outside for a year. I spent a year outside of that cave, refusing to let him go. And then about 2 weeks ago, I said, I got to let him go. And I did. And I severed all ties and I walked away. And that's when doors really opened up and things shifted and changed. And I saw the self. And that is when I realized I separated myself from him and my loyalty switched from him to me. That was like the eye opening. And that's when I realized I can't help him. I can't save him. I had to accept my own inability to control. We're back to the control. Yeah. Now I just realized that he takes away my focus from work. And that's really what I can't afford. And that's when I started to notice that I would go hours, almost the entire day, without even thinking about him, let alone texting him. Yes, I can use my own energy to help myself. So my question is, can you use energy to help others? And isn't that what Reiki healing is? That's exactly what Reiki healing is the ability to project your own energy onto another person at a distance or in person. But all you're doing is channeling that energy. Now I know that intuition's going to take care of it for myself. She'll do whatever I need, so long as I trust her. But again, my mission is Operation Imagination. My mission, intuition says things to me like, you cannot burn that bridge. You have to leave that door open. You cannot cut him out of your life. Okay. And that's it, really. Is she laid down those laws to me years ago, like 2 years ago. And I just kind of left those doors open. And even though I wanted to close them, even though I said, he's mentally ill, I need to close these doors and walk away, which is what I normally would do. That's exactly what I would do, is close the doors and walk away. And she said, no, you have to keep those doors open. You have to. Now I understand why. And I just got to trust her and leave her to it. But I can't hang around waiting for whatever. So I understand now. This whole damn time it's been. So what's been happening is the last 3 years I've been going through this massive moral flux. I have a rule that I follow. Yeah. See that cutting him off. You right there. You said it. No need to cut anything. And that's the problem. That was my trauma talking. That was 100% my trauma talking. It was this mentality that, okay, so I have a very strong ethic that if a person is not mentally healthy or seeing a therapist, they cannot be in my life. I did not want mentally unhealthy people in my life. So, solid rule. If you're not seeing a therapist, you had better be mentally healthy or you can't be in my life. And I did not make any exceptions. This was a boundary that I made just to keep myself safe. And then I met him. And he was not doing anything for his mental health, and he was not in therapy. He had tried, and like so many others, he couldn't do anything with it. And I had this massive, I love. Love is amazing. When you go through heartbreak, it's not your cognitive core that's misaligned, it's your love misaligned with your ethics. And this is what happened. This took me 2 years of psychoanalysis to figure out what heartbreak was. So my ethic is, you have to be with somebody only who's mentally healthy or seeing a therapist. If they're not working on their mental health, they had better be maintaining it. Now, he wasn't doing either one of those. And because I loved him, I made an exception, which absolutely violated my ethics. So now my subconscious mind threw a whole lot of information out there, emotions screaming at me, this isn't okay, this isn't okay, this isn't okay. And then he introduced me to a large group of people, like 150 people or so, friends of his, friends, quote unquote, a community of people. And the more I healed, the more I realized that people within this community were very mentally unhealthy. And none of them were seeking therapy. And I had so many red flags going off. Now, at the time, I had not yet completed my work on triadic healing. So I had not yet figured out what was going on. I just knew that things didn't feel good. That was intuition telling me to get the fuck away from all of this. And I didn't listen. I kept ignoring intuition. I kept following. This is a fun fact. Every time I follow, shit hits the fan and I don't do okay. I'm not okay if I follow. So I was just not okay. And I pulled away. And when then shit hit the fan. And when shit hit the fan, I do what I always do. I work. So I just put my head down and I focused on work. And that's when I started to really put things together for my own healing, for triadic healing. And I started to bring all the pieces together. And the more I brought the pieces together, the more I started to realize that what I'm dealing with is an intuition and an identity. This is before I discovered light work. This is before I saw any of it. This was back when I was still very scientific and thought that astrology was just a coincidence. There was a tipping point. When I reached the tipping point, it was after imagination had manifested, after imagination had come out on the 16th of May, 2022. It was about 6 months after that. And I still would not accept, like I could see that manifestation worked, but I couldn't believe it because it violated my subconscious programming that magic isn't real. Amazing, right? And it was about 3 months ago when I broke through and I finally figured out triadic healing. Like I polished it. And then I got even more precise. And it's been slowly, it was when I created the Witch's Corner. When I finally published the Witch's Corner and I said, now I'm willing to accept that there's something out there, that there's intuition and identity. And I started to embrace my spirituality. And the scientist in me screamed because I had limiting beliefs. And I knew this now. So I removed the limiting beliefs and I threw them away. And that's when I stepped out of the matrix and I went, oh, magic is real. I see. So then I went back and I knew that I couldn't take him with me. And that broke my heart. And I went, well, what about my loyalty? And I threw away my loyalty to him and I completely committed to myself. And then I completely severed all ties. I didn't sever all ties. I just pulled away. And when I pulled away and I focused everything into the garden, things flowed really well. And then it's been realizing that I can't help him, that I can't heal him, that this is my limitation. That's all it is. It's accepting my limitations. I have never been good at accepting my limitations. Remember, as you heal your own mental health, you heal all. You see how important your own mental health is to peace. Yeah. You just said what I've been suspecting, that once I heal completely, and I'm so close, once I'm done with this resting period, my sunlight's going to come on. I know my sunlight. I know my sunlight. It's not here yet. And I know it when it comes back. And it beams out like the sun, and it is a beacon. I am a beacon. I would walk through events. This is back when I had my sunlight. And people would just swarm to me. I had people literally worship me. It was weird for a time. And then I got used to it, where people would literally just walk up and start worshiping me. I had one woman, she just approached me like I was a butterfly. And she said, "You are not of this world." And I felt like she had seen right into me. No, I am not of this world. None of us are. But I don't hide it. Oh, that's why I'm different. Huh, interesting. And I'm still hiding it. No, I'm not hiding it. I'm just tired. I'm not hiding it. I'm just tired. I just had this massive. It's been a very long time since I felt my sunlight, but I feel it. Once I'm aligned and I'm completely healed, it's just gonna. And I'm not grieving anymore. No, I'm definitely resting. I'm definitely just exhausted. I'm at the top of the mountain. I got into the cave. I went, wow, it's warm in here. Wow. All my cuts and bruises are gone. Wow, my bloodlust is, I'm going to go sleep now. And I just passed out. And now I'm sleeping. And that's all I'm doing is sleeping. And I'm still sleeping. That's what's going on. I'm still sleeping. I'm sleeping right now. I can feel it. I am tired. And I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to go take another nap and I'm just going to keep sleeping. And I don't know if I'm going to sleep for a week. I don't know if I'm going to sleep for a month, but I can't stay awake. And I will wake up and I will put things out there in the healing garden, but I'm only giving you 5%. I'm only giving you maybe 15%. I'm not giving you nearly as much as what's here. So the little bit of sunlight you're getting from me is still barely touching what I can do. And I loved my sunlight. I missed it so much. And I want for nothing more than to show you what it looks like. I manifested it. I've asked identity. I've asked intuition for it many times. I am in the process. Yeah, I'm listening to my body. But I also have to talk. That's part of it. So I sleep and then I wake up and I talk. And then I eat and I exercise and I take it easy and I sleep. And I really hope this period of rest comes soon. That way I can just shine my beacon. And that's what this feels like. And I know when I shine my beacon, I know. So yeah, I need to just heal myself. I do need to just heal myself. And it feels so weird because I haven't established familiarity yet. That's all this is. It's called normalizing. I have reached the final perspective. I have reached the final perspective. And I'm finally accepting the final perspective. And I'm now recovering and normalizing. That's what I am doing. I am normalizing this new perspective. And then I'm going to party. Oh, yeah. I cannot wait until I have my sunshine back. I really miss my light. All right, I'm going to go take a nap again. It's just so surreal. I lead by example. Oh, the Lightworkers. That's like the whole reason why I got on here was to tell you about the Lightworkers. So I was building the group and I'm basically unionizing everyone. And I had this realization and I had written it and I loved it so much that I wanted to just share it, where I said, I cannot lead, or I have to lead. I can never follow. Sometimes following means that or leading means that sometimes I walk alone. And you are more than welcome to join me, but I have to lead. And that means there is some knowledge I cannot know. And I don't know why I can't know it. Intuition has just made it clear that I'm not allowed to know certain things. And I go, okay. And I think it's because if I were, no, I know. It's because if I were to know, then I would stop leading and I would start following. You had said something about twin flames. And I really want to do like a whole thing, just pulling it apart, because there's my intuition. And then there is, yeah, I am the one making the path. There's my intuition, and then there's all the information that I've read about twin flames. Now, when I read about twin flames, my source that I use is very good. And my intuition is all screaming at me, going, yes, this is correct. You've got it. And it does very much. If you are not disciplined, if you are not healthy, and if you are not aligned, then it is codependency. The problem is both parties have to be aligned, both parties have to be balanced, and both parties have to be awakened. Only then can they step away from codependency and actually embrace twin flames. What about attachment styles? Attachment styles are your actual, that's your coping style that's out of control. I do a whole thing on attachment styles. Attachment styles are basically, it's how you were abused and what kind of a coping style you have. So you have a coping style that is avoidant or a controller, or both. I have been both, and now I tend to lean on the side of controller. I am not an avoider. An avoider, someone with an avoiding coping style, and now I'm talking for, I don't know very much about this, but because I'm not an avoider, I'm a controller. So an avoider is somebody who will deliberately avoid a problem or conflict to cope with it. So they would escape through video games, and this is where addiction easily runs into a cycle. But a controller is somebody who has to take a shower or exercise. They have to physically do something to feel like they are in control of a situation. So when we have trauma, when fear starts to raise its head, when trauma, when fear raises his head, basically you have to soothe using your coping styles. And when you pull from your coping style, it calms and it soothes the Jerry, and then the Jerry goes back down. But when you use the wrong thing to soothe, it goes way extreme. And then there's like a happy place, and then there's the toxic places. So if you take it too far, then you start coping with the incorrect style, and then you get into toxicity, which is where an avoidant would go to alcohol or drugs or an escape method. Whereas a controller would become a narcissist. That actually is what happens with narcissism, is it's your controlling style that's gone way off the charts. And what happens is how you are abused combines with your coping style, and that cocktail creates your mental illness. It is specifically how you were abused and your coping style combined. And when those two things combine, you end up with narcissistic abuse syndrome or narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder. I'm familiar with suffering attachments. And I have been looking into this for about 10 years. I've done a lot of research on attachment suffering, being attached to suffering. And it is definitely something I have battled with. And it is something that I am constantly conscious of. And I track it. I actually track it. I have this massive mood chart that I build. And I track when I look for drama. And I used to be really bad in 2015. And then what would happen was I noticed it got out of hand in 2022. And then for the last year, it's been tuning it down. And now with it, I am at a point where I'm just too tired. No, I know what it was. I started to value my energy more than anything else. So I started to ask the question, is this hurting my energy? Intuition tells me that my partner is very much a part of the healing garden. He is. He's 50% of the owner. Intuition tells me that he is going to contribute greatly to Operation World Peace. I can see that future very, very clearly, his contribution. But he's not the same man. The man I see in the vision is definitely not who I know now. And my ethic is cut him out, close the door, move on, which I can do. But I have this vision and intuition going, don't you dare, you look at that. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, I see what he does. So to cut him out of the garden is to literally going to affect millions of people. So I can't cut him out of the garden. And I can't have him in my life. Not right now. So I have this, I got to fix him so I can get him where he needs to be so he can fit this vision that I have. That is not my department. That is intuition's job. So I'm going to just throw it over there. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's just working out all the different pieces and where everything fits. And today it was like this massive realization of, oh, I'm supposed to just let that alone. And I'm just processing everything right now. Reading the energy. That's what I'm doing. Wow, it's really weird to call it that. Like to finally say it out loud. I'm reading the energy. I do this a lot where I just pause and I just check in with intuition and identity. And I just check the energy to make sure everyone's aligned and I'm on the right track and I'm saying what I'm supposed to be saying. And everything checks out. Yes, everything checks out. So yeah. All right. No, I definitely see where, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to just sleep some more. And then I got to dig inside of me and figure out why I'm blocking my sunlight. That is something intuition just told me. You're blocking your sunlight. And so, no, I very much do hold myself accountable. That was something else I had to work out about a year ago and then 6 months ago. A lot of work as far as holding myself accountable. All right, I know my path. So, the link for Lightworkers Guild and the Union is below, and I'm going to start recruiting probably in 6 months. Yeah, I'm going to start recruiting for my own guild in 6 months. So I'm going to start putting together the prep work for that. Yeah, I definitely see things being laid out in a 6-month increment with the garden. Like every 6 months, she gives me more. Intuition gives me more like, okay, it's time to put this in place because in 6 months, she tells me when to plant the seeds. It's wonderful. She tells me when to plant the seeds and she tells me when to go back and start nurturing more seeds. So I'm going to start planting this seed. And then in 6 months, I'm going to start recruiting. So yeah, we're going to start there. I am so excited. Oh yes, definitely. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me, and may the kindest of words always find you.